We all have one, a single day that marks our arrival in this world, a point in time that is uniquely ours. Today, we celebrate these days with songs, with gifts, with family and friends. We gather around a cake, its surface bright with the tiny flames of candles, and for a moment everything stops. We make a wish. It all seems so simple, so natural. But have you ever stopped to wonder where this tradition comes from? For most of human history, the day of your birth was just another day. The idea of celebrating you, just for being you, is a new invention. This journey begins long, long ago, not just about parties, but about how we see ourselves. About gods and kings, about calendars and cultures, about the quiet, steady rise of the individual. Birthdays seem personal, but their roots are tangled with something much bigger. Measure time, honor power, find our place in the turning wheel of the universe. Lighting a candle connects us to a chain of history stretching back millennia. How did we go from a day of no consequence to a global celebration? The answer is a slow, fascinating evolution. Our journey begins in the land of the pyramids, under the hot Egyptian sun more than 3,000 years ago. Here, we find the first recorded celebrations that look something like a birthday. If you were an ordinary person, a farmer, a craftsman, your day of birth went unnoticed. The only birthdays that mattered belonged to the pharaoh. And even then, it wasn't the day he was born from his mother. It was the day he was crowned, the day he was believed to be born again as a living god. This was his coronation, a divine transformation. This celebration was a massive public festival, a national holiday, filled with grand rituals and feasts for the people. It served a powerful purpose, to reinforce the pharaoh's divine status and unite the kingdom under his rule. It was about power, not personality. The idea that a single life was connected to the gods, that a birth date could hold cosmic significance, was planted. From Egypt, we travel across the Mediterranean Sea to ancient Greece. Here, the idea of celebrating a birth becomes a little more personal, a little more mystical. The Greeks believed that each person was attended by a spirit, a demon, who was present at their birth and watched over them in life. This spirit related to the god on whose birthday the individual was born. A quiet, spiritual connection, a personal link to the divine calendar, a subtle shift from a king's power to an individual's soul. They honored Artemis, goddess of the moon and the hunt, on the 6th day of each lunar month. Round honey and flower cakes were offered upon her altars, made to glow like the full moon, with lit candles whose smoke carried wishes to the heavens. A glowing round cake, a wish to the gods. The resemblance is unmistakable. The Roman, with their genius for organization and love of a good festival, took these ideas and helped them spread. Rome was a city of public holidays, honoring the founding of the city, the birthdays of emperors, the birthdays of gods. Important men, emperors, senators, would celebrate their birthdays with parades, banquets, and public games, a way to show status and gain favor. For common citizens, life was hard and calendars imprecise. Full birthday parties were rare. They might celebrate the day of naming or the anniversary of joining a trade guild. Slowly, recognizing one's dies, Natalis took hold among private families. Friends and relatives offered good wishes, perhaps a coin, a token, a quiet acknowledgement of another year passed. Then, a powerful new force emerged, Christianity. Early on, the church opposed birthdays as pagan and tied to emperor cults and polytheism. Birth reminded them of original sin, not joy. Instead, they celebrated a saint's birthday into heaven, the day of death. Yet over time, honoring the births of Jesus, Mary, and John the Baptist sanctified the idea of marking a birth, transforming it from a pagan rite into a sacred event. The birthday wasn't forbidden, just reserved for the holy. Soon, the focus drifts back toward the family, from empires to families. As Europe moved out of the Dark Ages and into the medieval period, life began to change. Small towns grew, communities tightened, and the individual returned to the center. We begin to see the faint outlines of the birthday party we know today, especially for children. Parish records and household accounts show some noble and merchant families marking children's birthdays with small feasts and special prayers. Not lavish, simple acknowledgments tied to community. In parts of Europe, a child's name day, the saint's feast they're named after, was celebrated even more than their actual birthday. The birthday child becomes the focus, to be protected and celebrated. Folk belief held that evil spirits were drawn to birthdays. Noise, laughter, and well wishes formed a shield of joy to scare them away. Gift-giving grew, a carved toy, a piece of fruit, a coin, tangible affection, and a wish for prosperity. Birthdays transformed, from formal ritual or religious observance into an intimate expression of love within family and village. It was becoming personal. The modern party is about to be born. Cake, candles, childhood, the threads that will weave the party we know. The next great leap comes from Germany. Here, the cake, the candles, and the child-centric focus are woven together. Kinderfest, a children's festival, a party specifically for a child with traditions we now consider essential. On the morning of their birthday, a child was woken with a cake decorated with a specific number of candles. One for each year, plus one extra. The light of life, a hope for another year to come. The candles burned all day, replaced as they melted, and extinguished only when the child made a wish and blew them out. A ritual of magic and hope. The modern birthday party was born. For centuries, refined sugar, fine flour, and leavening were luxuries for the wealthy. The Industrial Revolution made them affordable to the growing middle class. New ovens made reliable home baking possible. A special cake moved from palaces into ordinary kitchens. German immigrants carried Kinderfest abroad, especially to America, where a child-centered party with cake, candles, and games took root. American family culture embraced it. The idea spread quickly, adapted by each new group, becoming the standard model for a child's birthday across the Western world. As the 20th century dawned, the birthday went global. Mass-produced cards and reliable post turned wishes into an industry. You could send a beautiful message across the country, even across the ocean. Sending a card became a ritual connecting loved ones. In Mexico, no party is complete without a piñata. In China, Korea, and Vietnam, long noodles symbolize long life. The goal is to slurp them without breaking. Milestone birthdays mark life transitions: the quinceañera, bar, and bat mitzvahs, 16 to drive, 18 to vote, 21 to drink. Today, a flood of posts and photos extends the celebration online. A video call puts distant relatives in the same room. The party isn't confined to one room or day. It can echo for hours, even days, across a global network, creating a shared virtual community. We have traveled from coronations of ancient gods to the digital wishes of the modern world. We've seen birthdays shaped by religion, power, technology, and love. What began as a public display for a king is now deeply personal. Why do birthdays still matter so much? The answer is simple and profound. They help us tell our story. A birthday is a bookmark, a pause to look back and to look forward. In a fast world, a birthday lets us reflect, feel gratitude, and dream ahead. A quiet reckoning of who we are and who we hope to become. A birthday is a bridge, connecting us to those who matter. A shared cake, a song, a thoughtful gift, even a phone call, all acts of love. They say, "We see you. We're glad you're here. Your life has touched ours." In a lonely world, a birthday reminds us we belong to family, community, tribe. That's the magic. Another orbit around the sun becomes meaningful. Our personal story links to humanity's ancient story, candlelight to moon temples, wishes to prayers sent skyward.